Yeah. Welcome back to the HHW Show podcast. I'm your host, Obi-Wan with Hector V, and we are just getting down for our next PLE, and that's Crown Jewels. But there's a lot of storylines to cover, but we're going to narrow it down to the Kabuki Warriors, Iyo Sky, Rhea Ripley, to Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes rivalry, and you know, Paul Heyman, my favorite topic. Oh yeah, I can't wait for this one. But hey, I'm with you all the way through, and I'm excited, Hector, because hey, it's wrestling, baby, and we finally got it to where now we're going to focus on the storylines, baby. And I'm going to start off with no other than the Kabuki Warriors, Iyo Sky, Rhea Ripley. Yo, talk to me, Goose. Like, what's going on here, man?
Oh man, what has gotten into Oscar lately, boy? Has she been drinking the wrong Kool-Aid or what? Jealousy, envy, greed? What is it that's going on with her? She's just taken a turn, man.
Oscar did mention about something about when Io was champion that she was forgotten, right? Everything wasn't around her, but then again, it's like where was Oscar? You know what I mean? Like she was MIA for a long period of time, and was it that when she showed up that everyone was supposed to bow down to her? It's crazy.
That's what it seemed like.
Yeah. But that's really a thoughtful question though. Like what else could EO Sky do, you know? But one thing in my research is letting go for a family is often emotionally difficult. And whether in Japan, the US, or anywhere, uh family is always tied with identity, belonging, survival. And there's some stuff, some reasons that could be developing here
Mhm.
between these ladies, and there's that deep emotional bond. um Family is often our first source of love, care, and attachment, and even when conflict arises, many people feel a natural pull to maintain those connections.
Mhm.
Walking away can feel like losing a part of oneself.
Yeah.
And it's not only just Io Sky and Asuka, but also Kyrie Sane. Because I feel like Kyrie Sane is in the middle of everything, and she's emotional to all this.
Yeah.
Um, can you relate to that?
When we have personal ties with family, you know what I'm saying? And, you see that person just taking a turn for the worse, now you don't know what to do or how to handle the situation, and, you want to get down to the bottom of it. You want to get down to the root of it and what's going on with this person. You just don't want to give up on them. And I think that's what seemed like with Kyrie's saying. She doesn't want to give up on Oscar. But then, yeah, it could stem to being fear. She could be, she has fear of her, and fear in the wrong way, and so it's she's just scared of her. And then with Io, she's just confused. She doesn't know
Mhm.
what to think, and you don't want to give up on family. You never do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in your family, or even you yourself, you go through your times in which, you go through different types of emotions, right? And you just don't want to give up on them because of one thing that they're going through. You want to be able to find out what's going on. And
Right.
Iyo Sky seems like maybe she's trying to figure out what's going on, but it's getting the best of her. She's allowing, Oscar's emotions, ruin her, and stuff like that. They say, every action has a reaction, but how do we actually go about doing that when it comes to someone else?
Right.
I shouldn't allow your actions affect me. You know what I'm saying? But if it does, then it seems like you have a stronghold. You have a hold of me that way. And it seems like Oscar has control of everything right now. And then you got outsiders like Rhea Ripley who's trying to tell her what she sees, because sometimes people on the outside looking in sees more than those within the circle.
But
And
at
so,
the same time, you mentioned that Real Ripley got to take an understanding that they got to respect the culture, respect their traditions and stuff,
Mhm.
because and the cultural and social expectation in many cultures like Japan, right? Family is central to social identity, and breaking away can feel like dishonoring tradition,
Yeah. Right.
disrespecting your elders, or risking a social shame.
Yeah.
Collective, what is it called? The in collectivist society, right?
Mhm.
Family can be seen as selfish or unnatural. And I'm seeing this here. Kyrie Sane is not don't want to side nobody. She wants to respect both. And Iyo Sky has been telling Iyo like leave it alone, and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting to now that after Asuka attacked Iyo Sky with that mist in her mouth and everything else, like now they formed that bond. Iyo Sky, Real Ripley are now going to be tag teams. So we're going to see in the near future those two tangling against the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see if Iyo Sky and Rhea Ripley can actually get along and coexist because they seem like they still have unfinished business with themselves, but it seems like they are able to put that to the side for now. You know, but the Kabuki Warriors could be very dangerous. We know we've seen them in the past. They've been tag team champions. They are very dangerous, and so Iyo Sky better be careful.
Yeah, definitely. You said a lot, in which relates to no other than Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes because their rivalry is skyrocketing right now, and these two had a lot of choice of words in the ring on Monday Night Raw, and the one thing that they both have in common is that respect. Because Seth Rollins did state, you know, Cody did demonstrate resilience and perseverance, especially when they reminisce the cage match, right? Like a lot had to do with Cody being hurt, Seth Rollins trying to take advantage of it and everything else. And what was left and done was that Cody Rhodes, no matter what condition he was, he beat Seth Rollins, right? But at the end, Seth Rollins was talking to Paul Heyman, and it's not just him beating Cody Rhodes. He has to beat Cody Rhodes. Now that's that mindset of him that he is not thinking outside the box. He's narrowing his vision to just Cody. That's gonna be something that's gonna harm Seth Rollins if he approaches that in the ring.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what's going on with Seth Rollins. Did Cody actually get into his head right now?
I think so. I
You
really
know,
do. You know, let's put it this way. Seth Rollins is talking this big game. He's talking about how he runs everything. He makes all the decision and everything else. But I think Seth Rollins just got caught in a lie. He did. I think he did get caught in a lie because the fact that why wasn't he not at SmackDown,
yeah,
right? And then all of a sudden, in the PLE, Paul Heyman announces Brock Lesnar. Was it really Seth Rollins' call? I mean, he had to pause and then like do a stare down to say, "Hey, I really made that call." Like it's almost like you're questioning Seth Rollins' leadership.
yeah, I think so. And I don't think that Cody's questioning it. I think he wants them to realize, dude, you need to wake up and really see what's really going on because you got the wool over your eyes right now. Yeah, I feel like in a way Cody's respecting him as a leader, what he's done, how he became champion, because in life, good leaders can make bad choices. But does that
Right.
make you a bad to me that doesn't make you a bad leader though. We just make
No, no.
we just make bad choices because there are various factors that go into that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it could be because of past experiences. And you look at Seth Rollins, he cannot seem to beat Cody Rhodes to save his life. You know what I'm saying? And Cody had to remind him of that,
Right.
And then you think about loyalty. And Cody Rhodes is trying to tell him in so many words, dude, is Paul Heyman really loyal to you? Look at what he's done in the past to everybody that he had under him. Okay. And so that could be a factor right there, and I know that Seth Rollins himself, he's very confident of himself, but you could be overconfident sometimes, and that makes good leaders, leading to making bad choices sometimes.
but he's
You know,
making a bad choice. His approach is bad because the fact that Seth kept saying that he was the forefront until Cody came around. Okay, Cody's the world undisputed champion, and he is the face of WWE, and that really irritates Seth freaking Rollins. It's bad enough that he's wanting to, how you say it? He feels like he's gotten rid of Roman Reigns. He got something else coming because Roman Reigns ain't he ain't out yet. You know what I mean?
no,
That's for later on. I just feel like sometimes Seth Rollins says stuff and he's not cashing in. And every time he cashes in, he's always has help. When is he gonna do it by himself? And he's capable of doing it by himself, but as of late, he's had help. You know what I'm saying? So there's other things that he mentioned. And Seth Rollins was mentioned about Cody. He left the business, he came back. You can't make that approach with Cody Rhodes because of the fact that Cody left because he got dropped.
right,
He didn't say, I quit, I'm going somewhere else. He got dropped from the roster. He went somewhere else and found his identity.
right,
He found his mojo. He
yes,
found something that he clicked by going to different independent scenes. So all he knew was WWE because of his family, and now he's on his own. He found something else that was true to him and brought it back to the WWE.
yeah,
Seth Rollins has not done yet. He's
right,
been all WWE. Okay. And it's okay to step out of bounds, to step somewhere else and learn another craft, right? And he brought it back. And Cody Rhodes didn't say nothing. He
yeah,
was upset that he got let go. Who, if you got fired or for something that it was out of your control, I am sure that any of you would have been disappointed. Say things out of the ordinary, do things out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? Because you do things out of anger or whatever. You're frustrated.
yeah,
Cody Rhodes was frustrated, and that very first pay-per-view of AEW, he took a hammer and smashed the chair. You remember that?
yeah,
And it was a symbol of him smashing Triple H. He was upset, and that marketed him. Okay? But he's back, and it's okay, which is a big difference than CM Punk. CM Punk was a different story. And so I feel like Seth Rollins is blindsided in all this. I do not think he's going to succeed at Crown Jewels.
I
I
would,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I respect what you're saying. I just would like to see WWE go a different route when it comes to Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes here, because um, I don't know if you ever I don't know if you remember me saying this. Has been a long time. Ever since the Undertaker retired, I've always thought about, okay, who's the next superstar up that I would like to follow, long term. You know what I'm saying? Who could be quote unquote my next favorite superstar, since now that my favorite superstars are not wrestling anymore.
Mhm.
And that would be Seth Rollins, because I see the potential in him being the future and the leadership of this business. When you talk about the face of the business today, I can see that. But I don't feel like they're doing a good job with him, when it comes to Cody Rhodes. I think they're doing a good job when it comes to CM Punk in a way, because they do get the best of each other. But when you got Seth Rollins always never getting the best of Cody Rhodes, why cannot Cody get bested by someone like Seth Rollins? That doesn't mean that Cody's a bad superstar, you know what I'm saying? But why can't he get bested by Seth Rollins? What are you doing? You're ruining Seth Rollins if you continue making him lose to Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes is not the end all be all, the the top of the tier, in my opinion, of superstars. You
Mhm.
see what I'm saying? And to me, it's more Seth Rollins who's the future than what is Cody Rhodes. Like you said, Cody Rhodes had to find his identity to come back. Seth Rollins has been there, during all that to find his identity, and he's found several identities. The architect, the visionary. You see what I'm saying? And he's been successful without having to leave the business, and he's come up the ranks. So why
Mm.
can't you put him on top of that pedestal and keep him there instead of keep knocking him down over and over? I mean, I don't like it unless they're trying to go with a different route with Seth Rollins. But to me, I would like to see Seth Rollins defeat Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel, because you put that title around Cody again, then you're telling everybody that Cody cannot be touched, and I do not like that. I don't like.
That could be the downfall of Cody Rhodes too. You know what I mean? We never had a back to back champion in Saudi Arabia.
I mean, look, it goes
I
back to
know.
when Hogan dropped the title cleanly at WrestleMania 6 to Ultimate Warrior. He was still Hulkamania. Everybody still know who he was. He was still on the top of his game, and he still regained that notoriety as the greatest of all time because he got the title back. You can do the same thing with Cody Rhodes.
Mm.
Okay, you can have him lose cleanly instead of being cheated out, of that title. It's not going to take away. It's not going to ruin his reputation if you lose to a Seth Rollins cleanly. It's
Right.
not. It's not going to damage Cody Rhodes. If anything, it's going to
Mm.
make him better. But if you continue making him beating him over and over and over, I as a fan get tired of that. I
Mm.
get tired of it.
Yeah,
To me,
but
to me, to me, Seth Rollins deserved to win at Crown Jewel. That's
I
my.
get it. I get it. I respect that. I just wish that it was a bigger stage if Seth Rollins does have a victory. You know what I mean? But you know, it is, and I get it. But the rivalry between Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes is going to be awesome. I know it is. They're gonna light it up, and I just can't wait for the time to come. And it's gonna be early morning,
Yeah.
early in the morning. I get
Right.
to chill for breakfast to watch WWE before I watch my college football. That is so awesome. It's once it's like you say, it's sports entertainment, my man. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
And I have an
but
hour. I have an hour more.
but Cody Rhodes said something brilliant,
Hmm.
and I could take it back to what he had told Roman Reigns. When you lose that belt, you're gonna lose a lot more than just the championship, and
Right.
he has. Paul Heyman, I think he is he really following Seth Rollins' vision or his own? He's been around with just the bronze, right? Bronson Reed, who's the other one?
Ron
Braun
Breaker.
Breaker. And then all of a sudden now he had Brock Lesnar. Really? Like, what's up with that? I'm just curious. And then we get that little flirtatious of a possibility of Brock Lesnar versus Braun Breaker. There's a lot of B's in them words anyway, but
Tell me about it.
um
Wanna be, wanna be.
I'm just saying, like, what is the end goal? What is the end game for Paul Heyman?
Paul Heyman's gonna get what he wants. He always does. You know, he
I think
always
Braun
does.
Breaker is this ticket.
He's his ticket and his next world heavyweight champion. Besides Curtis Axel, I mean, Paul Heyman has had a champion behind him every time.
What, but Curtis Axel was not really a great champion.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
he wasn't a champion, but I
No,
mean, yeah, yeah. All right.
you're talking about Big Show, Brock Lesnar, now Seth Rollins, of course, we know Roman Reigns. Whoever is with Paul Heyman, you're going to become a champion. And I mean, you got to
Mm,
give him credit for that. But the way he does it is very devious. He's very sneaky. He's a snake. That's all he is.
mm.
But in order for Braun Breaker to become champion, you're going to have to get Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar out of the picture.
Seth Rollins got to win, or it's not gonna be pretty.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's got to be something. Look, if you're a true leader, you got to win it all,
You got to set the
right?
example. Yeah. You got to set
Yeah.
that bar. Yep.
So, absolutely. It's gonna be interesting, man. There's also a lot of other stories going on. And I want to end this because the segment with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns came back and It's crazy how the development is with Roman Reigns rescuing the Usos from their match in the main event, and the fact that no acknowledgement for Jimmy Uso. Roman Reigns went and started attacking Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, which was allowed, right? And at the end of the match, when the Usos won, Roman Reigns only talked to Jey Uso. But where's Jimmy? How come Jimmy didn't get any love?
because he's not the next tribal chief. He's not.
Word.
I mean, if we're gonna start building up Jey Uso to be more aggressive, then we gotta have him turn against his brother. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, it's happened before. It's not gonna be something new.
He don't need a turn. We don't need another Jimmy versus Jay.
We don't, but if they're gonna push Jay to be doing something more, then Roman's gonna wind up doing it. Because again, why have we not seen Solo and his boys on SmackDown? We just barely got to see, the werewolf just barely coming back. There could be something brewing behind all this that Jay becomes the next family leader, and that's going to ride Roman Reigns into the sunset. Because Roman Reigns is not going to take that back seat to him. He's molding him to become the next leader of the family. And who knows that
Right.
maybe Solo may wind up falling in line with that. And that could make that family, the bloodline, the new bloodline, more dangerous than ever.
Mm.
And maybe Paul Heyman sees something like that. So now he's got to start, figuring out what he's going to do with the vision now. Do we keep Seth Rollins or do we get rid of him and bring in Brock Lesnar to help try to counter all this? I don't know. It's just wild things to think about,
Right.
but Jimmy don't have nothing to do with this. Jimmy's going to be ousted. Now that Naomi is pregnant, it could be a storyline where they oust him out.
Well, maybe Jimmy will walk out on him.
Maybe
and
so.
and avoid. We don't want to see a Jay versus Jimmy match. It was boring at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was. It was.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't like it. Nobody liked it. I don't care what people say or how they felt about. Oh, it was a dream come true for you, but it wasn't for the fans. And that's the thing. They did it for themselves. So that's
Right.
why it wasn't that great. And the storyline wasn't that great in building up. But I do see if that's the case, Jim is like, well, dude, you already have tensions already. So why not just walk away? If anything, why are we gonna see family fight? You know what we do see sometimes? And when people argue, they walk away. They walk away and they don't talk to each other for a long time.
Yeah.
Even my family now, I got a relative that hasn't spoken to another relative for over 30 years about some BS that was not really how you say it. It was
Important.
dumb. It was
Yeah.
dumb. Something very dumb that could have been squashed and then move on. But it is what it is. And you don't want to get old and not have everything solved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You live one life, so we will make the best out of it. And it's interesting to see because you're right. Roman Reigns is not wrestling all the time. He's going here and there, but every time he comes back for Jey Uso.
Mm-hmm. And that
I'm
could be,
liking it.
yeah, it could be a very aggressive Jay. We know Jay's. It seems like Jay's going to turn eventually. You
Mm.
know.
He's getting that frustration in, and that's all right. We can see it. He got the yeet. Everybody loves him. So it's gonna be all right. Listen, it's awesome. I can't wait till we get near so we can start making our prediction because we haven't even talked about AJ Styles versus John Cena, the last match. He already went back to his old motto to kick John Cena's ass. He's gonna have some fun. Um, Other than that, two. We got really, Stephanie Vicaire versus Tiffany Stratton, and we can scratch our heads about how Tiffany Stratton won and moving on because man, that botch match it was terrible. Who is to blame on that botch match on the main event on SmackDown? It doesn't matter now. I mean, I feel like that happened a long time ago, honestly. But
You know,
everyone's been commenting, man.
yeah.
It is what it is, bro.
You can't blame the ref. She did her
Can't.
job because if she counted three, now you're gonna have to throw. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to figure out how to make Cargill lose to Valkyria because she wasn't supposed to be champion in the first place. You see, it just doesn't seem right. So it was all a thing Nia Jax because she knew, she knew she was supposed to kick out, and she didn't. The referee had to.
No,
The
no.
referee saved that match. The referee saved that match.
Nah, that match, honestly, to be honest with you, there's nothing to save. It was done. Like you could see the referee giving instructions. Go up there, do your signature move, and let's be gone. Right? Tiffany Stratton missed her cue. So here's my vision. Here's my assumption to what happened. Tip Nia Jax was not supposed to take her off. And I think she probably remembers she's supposed to do it one time. Okay. And the fact that when Jay Cargill was on top of Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton was late on kicking Jay Cargill off. Right. And that Tiffany Stratton was supposed to be the one to go ahead and do that 1, 2, 3 count. And then Nia Jax supposed to push off. And then go on top of the ropes, do the flip, boom, 1, 2, 3. That's a wrap, right? That didn't happen. Remind you that she was late. Tiffany Stratton was late. Jay Cargill, the only time she got off was Nia Jax moving her out the way. And for Nia Jax, she probably remembered, oh, I did it one time. I don't have to do it again. You see what I'm saying? So
Mm.
there's a lot of factors in all this. And so there's a lot to be blamed, but it was terrible because this was the main event
Yeah,
for a woman's division. And that's what's sad.
yeah.
For
We
all the
talked.
evolution, the revolution, the absolution, the pop solution, you whatever solution that you want to think of, it was bad. It was bad for business.
No, you're absolutely right. Because when we talk about that, the women should be getting these opportunities to host main events, and then this happens and make it
Right.
too obvious for the
Mhm.
whole world to see. I mean, even Stevie Wonder saw what happened. I mean, that's ridiculous. Seriously.
Yo, stop, stop.
I mean, it reminded me of those kung fu theaters in the set on Saturdays.
Uh,
When they talk and then you move your lips. That's all.
right.
Like everything just seemed to
Mhm.
happen. Referee throws her arm under, and then Nia Jax decides to, I like,
Ugh, yeah.
oh my god.
Well, anyways, this concludes the show and the HHW Show podcast. You can follow us on 4 downs 3. Oh my God.
Four
Four
downs.
downs 3counts.com, or you can follow us and subscribe to our Facebook and YouTube channel with Hector V and Obi-Wan. Thank you for watching. Take care, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.